Hello chickadees, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another cozy story time in my recliner. We are going to be talking about all of the different entrepreneurial ventures that I've been on in my lifetime. It's a lot. I've had a lot of different passions, a lot of different desires. I've been very ambitious in my 30 years of living. I just wanted to sit down and talk about it because I think that as somebody that has so many passions and is like a jack of all trades and just really loves to do things for myself, I had a lot of discouraged moments in my life where it felt like, is this the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Am I crazy for wanting to work for myself? Can I do it? Whatever. And I am here to just share my story, first of all, just because that's what we do over here. But also to inspire those that really feel like they could do this, because you can absolutely work for yourself. If you are passionate enough and you are driven enough, you can absolutely do this. And I believe in you. It took me a long time to figure out what it is that I wanted to do. And I'm sure that it's going to change and shift and mold into something completely different in a few years, or maybe not completely different, but just slightly different. But I am coming up on 1 year of being self-employed. It'll be September 26th is my self-employed anniversary. So I just wanted to share this story of like all the different ventures that I've been passionate about and how it led me to today. So growing up, if you listen to my unschooling story time, then you would know I was definitely encouraged to do what I want, to listen to my passions, my heart's desires, and go after the things that I really enjoyed. And so I think that really set the stage for me to be an entrepreneur, for me to be somebody that had the room to accept that part of myself. I wonder where I would have ended up if I had gone to like traditional school, and like what that would have done for me career-wise. I wonder if I still would have chosen this path for myself. I don't know, but we don't need to worry about that because I'm here now. So I remember that like along with playing like house, like any other little girl would play, I would also play like office scenes with my friends, and two of my best friends growing up, they also grew up to be entrepreneurs. One owns her own daycare and the other one is a singer-songwriter. So they both work for themselves, and I think we all had that same like, ooh, let's pretend to like own a grocery store or like own an office, and we have to do office work, and I'm going to give you tasks or like whatever. And so I was always interested in doing that. Like that was almost, if not like as fun, then more than like playing house and things like that. The first like big business venture that I had was when I was like 10 or 11 years old, and I wanted to be a massage therapist. I remember I set up my whole room as like this massage parlor, studio. I don't know, maybe massage parlor isn't the right word. That sounds a little bit like a happy ending place, but I set my whole room up like that. And I like made a little station where the cash register was, and the whole shebang. And I was like really dramatic about it. And I made my parents check in at the front desk, and then I would take them to my bed, and then I gave them a little massage. And I was just really excited about like the idea of making people feel good, of making people like, feel relaxed and just better than how they had left, which is interesting that I think that kind of falls into the line of work that I do now. I've always had a desire to help people. I think that it just came out in lots of different ways. So when I was 12 years old, I got super into music. My dad gave me his guitar like on my 12th birthday, and I wrote a song that night. I fell in love with the guitar immediately, and I was super excited about it. Very, very passionate. And Nala, she's trying to crawl underneath. You want to come up here? You can't go under the chair. Come on. Well, fine then. Denied. I immediately started, writing a whole fucking album. I was very passionate about it, and that's kind of what I thought I was going to start doing. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to become a singer-songwriter. Me and the one that actually did become a singer-songwriter, we were both extremely passionate about it. We even, like, wrote songs together. We would always play our songs for each other, and, like, when family events would happen, we would play guitar for everybody. So I was super passionate about it. I started going to like open mics, and I did that for years. I keep saying the same fucking thing, but I'm passionate about it, and I really, really was. So the thing about that is that I never quite pictured myself on a stage in front of millions doing that, like, career wise. I just knew that I love to sing, and I love to write music, and I love to show my music to people, and it felt like a way of like me connecting with others, because I had a lot to say. I had a lot to say in my music. I was writing shit about suicide and death at fucking 13. I had a lot of trauma that I needed to get out, and so I think that music really helped me to explore those things. But on top of music, I also loved to do theater. I was a theater kid growing up. And so part of me was like, okay, well, maybe I'll be an actor. Maybe I will be a triple threat. I can sing, I can dance. I was also a dancer. I can sing and I can dance and I can act. And so my mom signed me up for a talent agency, and I went on like professional auditions for different like commercials and TV shows and movies. I never made any of them, but like I had that experience, and I was like, oh my God, this is happening. Like, I'm going to become a real famous actor. It's just a matter of one moment, like one person that's going to pick me up and they're going to notice me. But I really loved it. And honestly, if I wasn't too shy now, if I wasn't too afraid, maybe I would get back into theater, because that is like a family like no other. I loved my theater family, and I loved the experiences that I had within the theater community. I just feel a little bit too shy to audition. It's the audition that scares me. Once I've landed the part, I'm like, okay, I got the part for a reason. Like, I can act it. But I just get nervous about like proving myself. It makes me insecure. So again, I mean, I never made any of those auditions. It was a little bit of a scam. I'm pretty sure it was called True Talent Management, and I'm pretty sure that they like shut down because it was like not a legit company. I don't know what the deal was with that. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it while I was there. I took an acting class and whatever, but theater was my like main thing. I really loved theater. What the fuck? You guys, I just sucked up looks like a fucking SCOBY. I'm sick. I can't believe that was in my coffee. I'm gonna throw up. Okay, we're done drinking that. That's fucking disgusting. Ugh. It's like really hard for me to move on from that. I had some desire to become a cosmetologist, specifically a hairstylist. I loved dyeing my hair, and I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to like help people like do that, and I thought it was something that I was good at, like naturally. Like I didn't have to like learn a whole lot about hair dyeing. I was just like pretty good at it. I don't know. I also really liked cutting my own hair. That I was not so great at. Now I am, but back in the day, there were some really questionable haircuts that I gave myself. But I really liked like fashion and looks and makeup and all of that stuff. I was a girly girl, to an extent. Maybe not so much when I was younger, but I think that as I got older, the more like girly I became, and I really thought that maybe I could just be a cosmetologist. But I mean, the idea of going to college and like going to school for that scared the living daylights out of me. Again, I was homeschooled, unschooled, and the times that I did go to school were not that great, and I was really scared to repeat some of those experiences. And I was also scared to fail again and just like not do a good job. So I ended up not really doing anything with that. But when I was like 14 or 15, I did get a camera for my birthday, and I just used it for fun up until about like 16, I want to say. And then I started doing like photo shoots with my friends, and I would like invite them over and I would do their hair, their makeup, I would dress them up, I would style them, I would like lay out all of the jewelry that I had, and then we would go around like the neighborhood and take a bunch of pictures. They weren't amazing, but they were okay. I mean, it was a fun thing to do, and it made my friends feel good about themselves. So it wasn't hurting anybody. But yeah, I mean, through that venture of like exploring the styling and the makeup and the hair, I also questioned maybe I should be a photographer. And that is one that I like really heavily considered, because the schooling for it, you can go to like a professional place, but I was like, okay, well, you can just learn online to be a photographer, so I don't have to like face my fears and go to a school. I can just get a certificate online. And so that was something that I really thought maybe this is for me. But again, it wasn't like my biggest passion. I just felt like I was really good at it, and it was something that I really liked to do for fun. So out of all of those younger ventures, music stayed with me the longest. I loved it, and continue to love it all the way through my addiction. But my addiction did kind of run its course and not really allow me the space or passion to explore it in a real way, in a solid way. And so there were a lot of opportunities that I missed out on, mainly because I was wrapped up in the clutches of addiction. So maybe I could have been a singer-songwriter. Maybe that life was gonna be for me, but addiction swept me up, and I'm here now, and I wouldn't change it. But maybe like in an alternate universe, I'm a songwriter. The closest that I ever got to like being seen and recognized as a singer was I did a show at Kilby Court in Utah. I played like one of my albums, and I was an opener for another band, and that was like amazing. I loved it. It was really, really cool, but it just kind of made the fact that I don't really think that I'm ready to perform for people or want to perform for people all the more real for me. So fast forward, I go through the horrible experience of my addiction, and when I come out, I'm in rehab, and I fall back in love with music, and I write an entire fucking album in rehab. And I was like, okay, this is it. Like, as a sober person, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start a band. I'm gonna like get into this, and we're gonna make this work. I didn't. And the more that I like entered early sobriety, the more that I was just like, it's not really my thing anymore. I love to sing, I love to play guitar, but it's not exactly like what I want to do. And I started getting acrylic nails. And so I would get them blank. I would just like have them put the base on, and then I would go home and paint my own nails and do like crazy art styles and different little designs. And it looked like fucking shit most of the time, but I kept at it, and now we're here. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I just did. But now we're here, and I love to do my own nails, and I think that I'm pretty damn good at it. So persistence paid off. But yeah, I was like, okay, so it is cosmetology. This is it. Like, oh, for like the 50th time, I was like, oh, I found it. And so I was like, I'm going to be a cosmetologist, but I'm going to focus on my nail tech license. I'm going to work for myself. I'm going to become a nail tech. And I realized quickly like how much goes into making that happen and how expensive it is and how hard it is to make it on your own as a nail tech. And I was like, no, never mind. Too much effort. And I'm not passionate about it enough for that effort to feel worth it to me. So let that go again. But I did still consider cosmetology as a path for myself. And I even looked at a few colleges, but I just like wasn't ready for that. I couldn't bring myself to picture myself in a college, and it scared me when I did. So I just didn't push myself with that. So alongside the nails, I got super, super into makeup, and that became like such a healing art form for me. I would spend hours in front of the mirror just doing my makeup, trying different looks and whatever. And I loved it. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe there's some kind of like makeup work that I could do without having to go to school for it. I don't know. But I was like, maybe eventually I'll have the courage to do it. But I just really liked doing the makeup. And I had a solid job, so I wasn't like pressuring myself or anything to like become a freelance makeup artist. But it was there, and I was interested in it, very much so. I would literally spend hours in front of my mirror. I had a whole setup. My spare bedroom, before me and Ryan started sleeping in separate rooms, my whole spare bedroom was my makeup room. I had a vanity with a big vanity mirror. I could have probably bought a car with as much with as much supplies as I had in that room. That I was that passionate about it. And I did kind of like explore the idea of being a freelance makeup artist. And in fact, at one point I was like, that is the path that I'm going to do, because in Utah, you don't have to have a license to be, or a cosmetology license to be a freelance makeup artist, unless you're working in like a professional studio or like whatever. But if you're just doing it for your clients and under your name and whatever, then you don't have to have a license. You can just be a freelance makeup artist. I think that there was like some kind of, it doesn't matter. It's what I wanted to do. And I was like, okay, well, since I don't have to like go to school for it, I'm all over it. So I was working at a treatment center, and I was doing all my makeup and trying to see if maybe I could become a freelance makeup artist. But in the meantime, I was like, how can I make money for myself now by doing something that I love? And the only thing that I could think of was crochet, because I've crocheted my whole life, and I was like, this is going to be it. I'm going to make a bunch of money off of like selling little baby plushes, like baby toy plushes that I make. And so I made like a seahorse, there were jellyfish, there was like this little Yeti dude. They're really cute. And I put them up on Etsy for sale, and I did sell a few. I sold some to like friends and family that were interested. Nobody like that I didn't know. I didn't have to like ship it anywhere. But Tallulah, shh, what are you eating? But I quickly realized that I was getting paid like 50 cents an hour. The cost of the yarn and the labor that I was doing, and then how much I felt like I could charge for these plushes, I was charging $50 a plush. It still wasn't worth it. Like, I was literally getting paid 50 cents an hour. So I was like, this is not worth it to me. I'm not doing this. And plus it kind of hurt my wrist because of my carpal tunnel. So I was like, no, we're not doing that. So then I started driving for Lyft, and that kind of fell into my desire to work for myself. I was like, I can make my own schedule, do my own thing, and it really didn't work out that way. It sucked. It was horrible. Don't recommend. Maybe to like supplement your income, but not as a full-time gig. During that time, I did fall into spiritual psychosis. I really lost myself there. I was like really getting invested in my spirituality, and parts of it was very healthy, but there was a large majority of what I was getting into that was like super fucking delulu and creepy and weird. So, yeah, I stopped wearing makeup because I realized that it was a chore at this point. Like, it wasn't something that I looked forward to doing anymore. It wasn't something that I was sitting in front of my mirror being super passionate about and like just exploring and, trying new things out. It was forceful, and it was this false sense of security that I was putting over my face because I was scared and insecure of being vulnerable. So I stopped wearing makeup, and I decided to embrace myself and love myself a little bit more, which it did work. I stopped wearing makeup for a really long time, and I actually thought that I would never put makeup on my face again, which I think a lot of people go through that phase, especially if they were like super into it at one point, that at some point they like completely swear it off, and then they come back to it and they love it. You'll never guess what happened to me. Come look at this. Look at this.
What? What is that?
I don't know.
Ew.
It came up in my straw.
It did?
Into my mouth.
That's not okay. I'm so sorry. That's foul. Baton.
So as I furthered my spiritual awakening and my spiritual path, I got invested into massage therapy again. And I had a friend who was a massage therapist, and she made me super passionate about it. I had gotten in wrapped up in an MLM, and it was definitely sold to me as it wasn't an MLM, but it was. And so I was like already doing something for myself and the lift, and I wanted to do this massage therapy because I wanted to help people in a bigger way than the fucking MLM. If you want to know, it was Enagic water. The company was called Enagic. It was for Kangen water. If somebody tries to sell you a machine that that alkalines your water, please don't buy it. I spent $4,600 on this machine or something along the lines of that, and I don't recommend it, and I think it's silly, but if that's you, then it's you. That's fine. But anyways, so I even went as far to tour a school in Utah, Myotherapy, and the lady there was amazing. It was awesome. Like, my friend was hyping me up. She was like, "You're going to do amazing." I genuinely don't remember what happened. I was smoking a lot of weed during this time, and so I think that may have like kind of erased kind of what happened. I think though, because the lady that ran the school, she did reach out to me a couple of times after I decided not to go. And I think that it was this case of just like me not being fully ready and like not wanting to fully commit. Maybe I'll start classes in the fall. Maybe I'll start it in next year, like whatever. And so it never happened. I was too scared. So after that, I started working at a metaphysical shop, and I got super, I was already into it, but I was super into the LOA, Law of Attraction. And it was, again, not very healthy. And my spiritual psychosis definitely escalated. And I was wacko. But I had all these big desires. I learned about all of these different like healing modalities that I wanted to get into. And I started to feel myself getting closer to like what I could be like, feel was like a true path for me. I wanted to do like past life regression work, hypnotism. I wanted to do Reiki healing, energy work, crystal healing, you name it. There were so many things that I wanted to do. And I mean, they require certificates, but I found this place online called Udemy, and there's so many instructors on there that will give you a license for so many different things. And I was like, wow, this is exactly what I needed. Maybe not the hypnotism. I think you have to like actually have further instruction and real whatever. But I definitely found like a few of my callings. Like I felt myself wanting to move down a spiritual path and help others. So I was working at this metaphysical shop, and I had already been reading tarot. My friend introduced it to me, and she was like, Mara, you need to start reading tarot. Like, you're going to really like it, even if it's just for yourself. And so I was like reading tarot for myself, maybe dabbling into some oracle here and there. And I would read tarot for some friends and things like that. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then as I was getting fucking sick of the emotional turmoil and torture from the place that I was working at, I decided to start reading tarot professionally. And I did mostly oracle, but because I wasn't fully confident in my tarot reading abilities for like other people or like people that were going to pay me. So I mostly relied on oracle cards, and that was well enough. But I eventually, left that place, and I went into business for myself as Mystic Marmalade, which I'm sure a lot of you know me as Mystic Marmalade, because that is my tarot business name. I became a tarot reader professionally on TikTok, and I grew a large following, blah, 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 blah. This is in my other story time of like how I became self-employed. If you want to watch that as well. I burnt myself out big time, and I took a long break from that. And in that break, I was just a housewife, and well, not just. Being a housewife is hard work, honestly. So if you're a housewife, you have a job. But anyways, I also tried to become a tattoo artist. That was something that I really was passionate about. I was tattooing myself all the time. Almost all of my tattoos are from me, and I was like, I can definitely do this for other people. And so I started making an Instagram account. I had like a bunch of people that it was actually kind of, I could feel that it was going to go somewhere. My best friend gave me a little bit of like startup money to like get all the supplies that I needed. And I had like a space in my apartment to do all the work. So everything was according to plan. And if I had persisted in that, I definitely could have gotten an apprenticeship and then gotten a license. Maybe I wouldn't have had to get an apprenticeship. I think that tattoo apprentices, whatever, they have it rough. They don't have a good time in most shops, and I think that the environment is very toxic for most people. But I think that I just wasn't in a good place mentally. I had a lot of unresolved trauma that I was dealing with, and so when people would come to get tattooed with me, I had so much anxiety and fear. I was shaking, which is not something that you want from a tattoo artist. And I just wasn't in a place where I felt like I was ever going to overcome that. So that didn't end up working out. But eventually I got back into tarot via TikTok because I started posting housewife content, and then I was like, maybe I should post a little tarot reading here and there. And so I just kept doing that. And so that's where I'm at now. I am a full-time professional tarot reader, psychic intuitive, and I love my job. I read full-time. Like, this is my gig, and it's been a year of me doing this, and I am just like, wow, I really fucking did that. I make just as much as my husband does, if not more. I'm about to surpass him for the year. And so I think that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Obviously you're here now. I have recently started vlogging and making content creation a part of my my career, and I think that this is the thing that I really want to do. The tarot, I love it. It has a special place in my heart. I love being a tarot reader. I love helping other people. And I definitely see myself being in this career for a few more years. I don't think that I'm always going to be a tarot reader for other people. I'll always use tarot, but I don't know if I'm always going to do it as a job. I think that there's definitely some things that I need to learn in this path. There's some things that I still want to explore. Like, I almost have my Reiki certificate. I want to incorporate that somehow into my business. There's still a lot that I want to do with my tarot business, but content creation, vlogging, I want to live off of that. I want to make a living off of living my life and documenting it, and having a community. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. So if you're an entrepreneur and you feel that you're on the path to success, but you just don't know, and you keep trying different things and you just keep running into like problem after problem, or like you're not passionate enough, or it just didn't work out, keep trying. Keep pushing. I believe in you. Somebody is going to believe in you, and you are going to get recognized. Just keep doing it. I'm excited to see where I'm at in 2 years or a year from now. I think that I'm definitely not where I thought I was going to be a year ago. I'm much more successful than I thought I would be, and I'm pleasantly surprised by that, obviously. But I love you guys, and remember, I wouldn't have any of this unless it was for my beautiful, beautiful clients that let me read for them and watch my videos. So I really, really appreciate all of you. You guys mean so much to me, and I just feel very blessed to have you guys in my life. But I guess I will see you at the next one. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, chickadee.